The story begins with a plane struggling through a terrible storm. Our main character, Linda, was returning from a business trip with her friends. Everything was going fine when suddenly the plane started shaking violently, and the next moment there was a loud explosion. People who were standing without seatbelts were thrown all over the place. Immediately after, the cabin ruptured due to pressure, and some people were blown straight out by the strong gusts of wind. In the midst of this chaos, the manager grabbed Linda's leg tightly to save his own life. Meanwhile, another man moved towards the boss for help, but the boss ruthlessly pushed him out. But as he fell, he grabbed the manager's leg, completely throwing off his balance, and both fell out of the plane together. Linda hadn't even recovered from the shock when she felt darkness closing in all around, and the plane was falling out of control straight into the ocean. Fortunately, the angle of impact was such that the plane didn't explode immediately, and she survived. But seeing the water rushing in rapidly, Linda quickly unbuckled her seatbelt and swam out. But even after surviving, she found no relief, as she was now stranded in the middle of a desolate and endless ocean. Just then, she spotted a small island in the distance and swam towards it with all her might. By morning, she somehow reached the island, and for now, her life was saved. But she had no idea that the real danger was about to begin. After walking a short distance, she noticed a man lying on the shore. She immediately ran towards him, and on closer inspection, she realized it was none other than her boss, Bradley. He had also survived the crash and had washed ashore here, unconscious. Although his leg was broken from the fall, he was the only other survivor. Yet, Linda wasn't happy to see him because he was the person she hated most in the company. Actually, she was the most capable employee in the strategy department and was about to become manager by winning the boss's trust through her hard work. But just before her joining, the boss died, and his son, Bradley, became the owner of the company. As soon as he became boss, he snatched away Linda's promotion and gave that post to his sycophant friend. Not only that, he and his friends often started belittling Linda. Thinking about this, Linda felt like leaving him there. But then she thought if she helped him, she could become manager again. So she immediately picked up a sharp stone and started cutting banana leaves with it. Then, using a tree for support, she made a frame and tied the leaves and twigs with vines to build a small hut. After arranging shelter from the sun, she thought of securing water. She dug a hole in the sand, placed coconut shells in it, and covered them with leaves. Soon, it started raining, and she easily collected drinking water. As the rain stopped, the weather cleared up, and after a long time, Bradley also regained consciousness. Linda immediately went to him and started giving him water. When Bradley realized that Linda had saved his life, he hesitantly thanked her. OF. After this, Linda showed her capability by rubbing wood to start a fire, and soon she caught a fish and cooked it too. But for Bradley, who lived a life of luxury, this fish was no better than garbage. Still, to fill his stomach, he was forced to swallow that unseasoned fish. But Linda had no problem with this food. In fact, she was extremely happy even after being stuck in this place because there was no one here to belittle her, and she could happily spend many days here. Slowly, a few days passed, and the effect of the environment was clearly visible on both of them. On one hand, Linda was happy even with the smallest things, while Bradley wanted to get out of here somehow. He asked why she hadn't made an SOS signal on the shore yet, or made the fire bigger so that someone might notice this island. According to him, Linda should have done this first, but she had done nothing of the sort. On this very point, he angrily started shouting and taunting her, saying she was just putting on a show of taking care of him for no reason. He was helpless himself due to his broken leg. Yet, even after all of Linda's help over these days, he took it as his right. Hearing his words, Linda realized she couldn't win his heart just by playing nice. He would only understand her true value when he faced some hardship. Thinking this, Linda got up without saying a word and left him alone. Initially, Bradley kept taunting her even for this action. But after a short while, he began to realize what a huge mistake he had made. Still, he remained arrogant and waited for Linda to return on her own. But as he did so, a whole day passed, and finally his pride began to break. But even by nightfall, Linda hadn't returned. In the dead of night, a severe storm started blowing, and in no time, the hut Linda had built was blown away. The very next day, the scorching sun made things even worse. Due to the extreme heat, Bradley fainted from dehydration. Once Linda had let him suffer enough, she returned with water. Seeing her, Bradley immediately started drinking the water greedily without a second thought. Now he understood that he was completely dependent on Linda and couldn't boss her around. But just then, his eyes fell on the spear that Linda was going to use to hunt a dangerous wild boar. He knew that the boar was extremely deadly, so he told Linda not to go into the jungle, because if something happened to Linda, his own life would also be in danger. But Linda didn't listen to a single word of his and went straight into the jungle. While she was quietly searching for the prey, suddenly that wild boar rammed into Linda, tossing her into the air. The good thing was that a fallen tree suddenly came between her and the boar, preventing it from attacking directly and giving Linda a chance to get up and run immediately. But as the boar chased her scent, it only found torn clothes on the way. Before the boar could understand anything, Linda saw her chance and drove the spear deep into its body. Crazed with pain, the boar bent and broke the spear, and losing control in anger, it rushed to attack her again. Amidst this danger, Linda quickly held up a wooden stick. Finally, Linda managed to kill it.